This is a Canon RF 28 to 70mm F2.8 IS STM lens. This is one of the best lenses that I think that Canon has within its RF mount. And as a zoom lens, this lens delivers amazing value for price. And this is just one of the best lenses that I've seen on the RF mount. I use this lens primarily to shoot an event, and the result that came out of this was just great. Now let's look at the image quality of this lens. The RF 28 to 70mm F2.8 has impeccable image quality. It is really sharp even at wide open at f2.8. I've not seen a lens that comes to this sharpness in terms of image quality. It gives warmer tones and also produces rich colors, and pairing with the Canon R8, the image quality that came out of this lens is stellar. It produces one of the best image quality that I've used in a long while. It being an STM lens, I thought it was not going to produce the quality that air glass uses. And with Canon making a proclamation that this lens uses a 2UD element, same as we find with an air glass, this RF 28 to 70mm produces amazing results. The color accuracy is just on point. It is really beautiful and it's extremely sharp. From 28mm all the way to 70mm, it is sharp at the center and also sharp at the corners. I think the sharpness is just absolutely one of its greatest perks. The bokeh out of this lens is just great. It is creamy, it is roomy, it is extremely beautiful, especially in terms of the skin tones. It has minimal distortion because of the 2-element aspheric coating that you have with it. It is really beautiful. The images that comes out of this are sharp, clean. It is so clinical to the extent that sometimes I wish that the sharpness could be toned down a little bit. The image quality out of this in terms of videos is really impeccable. I shot a few videos within the studio and I realized that the videos out of this were just clinically clean and beautiful. It is masterclass in terms of the image quality. The RF 28 to 70mm proves that you can still have an STM lens which produces the same quality as an air glass, and also sometimes even notches it above it in terms of sharpness. Let's look at the autofocus on the Canon RF 28 to 70mm f2.8. The autofocus on this lens is absolutely insane. It is fast, it is precise, it is accurate. The interesting thing that I like about this lens is that it is absolutely silent when it is autofocusing. The focusing speed on this lens is great. It's hard to miss even a single shot when we are focusing on this lens. Whilst I was shooting and doing the behind the scenes, I gave it to someone to shoot it, and the person was able to shoot this lens wide open, giving cream bokeh quality out of it. Compared with the Canon RF 24 to 105 that I've been using for quite a number of time now, I think this lens, neck and neck, delivers impeccable autofocus performance. In some extent, I think that this is a little bit faster and smoother compared to the air glass that I have. Canon nailed this in terms of its autofocus performance. Look at the versatility of this lens, the RF 28 to 70mm f2.8. I think that the versatility of this lens is really versatile. At 28mm focal length all the way through to 70mm. Even though when you compare to other lenses within this same kind of zoom range, usually starts from 24 to 70mm. And I think when I compare it to the RF 24 to 105, at 24mm and 28mm, just 4mm, I don't think I was losing much. And I didn't really see it impacting me when I was on the real world using this for a client project. I think 28mm is really great. It's not too tight and also not too wide. It comes in clutch, especially with it being 28 to 70mm. You have enough focal range to play with on the Canon R8. This is an amazing bargain. And if I want extra reach, I can easily use the 1.6 crop factor on the Canon R8 and still be able to get a little bit of reach. Now let's look at the build quality on the Canon RF 28 to 70mm f2.8. The build quality over here is very great. I mean, I stack it against my Canon RF 24 to 105, which is an air glass, and I didn't notice any kind of difference in terms of the build quality. In terms of the build, you're going to find this kind of sound, which ultimately you are not going to find with an air glass. But I think that the build quality here is really premium. It has dedicated autofocus and manual focus switch on it. It also has the image stabilization. It has almost the same image stabilization quality that you find with an air glass. It's really smooth, especially when you pair with a Canon body. The Canon R8 does not have any in-body image stabilization with it. but this lens with its IS gives a smooth experience in terms of image stabilization. In handheld, this is going to counteract and combat a lot of the jitters that you're going to have with the Canon R8. I also like the fact that it is lightweight, and so it weighs approximately around 490 grams. It also has a 67mm filter thread, which is quite really common and easy to purchase, built really nicely, and is great in terms of build quality. I don't think that Canon really cut a lot of corners. It is genuinely one of the best things that Canon has done in terms of build quality for an STM lens. Now let's look at the unboxing experience. The unboxing experience, as usual with Canon, being very obstinate, concerning about their customers at the base level. This lens comes with just the lens in the box with just a few paperworks, no lens hood. Canon, at this price point, giving us a lens of this nature without a lens hood is criminal. I don't think Canon understand the plight of consumers to have a lens of this nature that is above $1,000 and still not provide a lens hood with it. I really understand that this is an STM lens, but the price is goddamn the same as what you find with other expensive lenses from third-party manufacturers. That is quite annoying, and especially someone who's shown Canon and love Canon as a brand. I think that is one of the most downside things that Canon can ever do to its consumers. Look at the handling on this lens. Handling this lens with any Canon RF body is going to be really amazing, especially because of its lightweight. Its weight of approximately 490 grams makes it ideal to use for long shooting. Usually when I use the RF 24-105, I've been contemplating that lens is a little bit lighter and helps me to shoot for long hours, especially with my Canon RF Mark II, which I'm recording on this video. But I think that stacking this lens onto the Canon R8 and also trying the RF 24-105 on the R8, I realized that this one was a joy to use. It's easy to balance, easy to handle. It's extremely important, especially for the fact that when I'm shooting for long hours, this lens provides amazing experience in terms of the handling. Pair this lens and you put it on Canon R8 and you add to a gimbal. It gives you a smoother experience in terms of balancing and also trying to use this lens for longer shooting. No lens is perfect. Honestly, no lens or any kind of technology is absolutely perfect. There's one big quirk with this kind of lens, and I don't know if that one will be a aberration to someone or not. But I think that for the first moment that I got this lens and trying to use it, that was the issue that I encountered. And that has to do with the fact that this lens does not directly start from the 28mm. When it states like this, it is collapsed. Anytime you twist it from the collapsed state to, let's say, the 28mm where it starts from, you hear a sound. And once that sound hits, it means that the lens now is in the mode that it can shoot. You're going to find it at the back of your LCD screen on your camera body that this lens is not focusing or it's not functional unless you twist it to that kind of 28mm. At its price point, what's above $1,000, Canon should not have taken that kind of approach in terms of the design. That approach for me, I think, is a big letdown. I don't know how many times you have to twist it over and over again in terms of its use for a long period of time that you're not going to find any problems with it. You are going to get used to it as when you start to shoot. So usually when I'm shooting, what I do is that I just twist it to 28mm and I let it stay there just like this. Then once I'm done shooting and I want to go home, I twist it back and collapse it into its body. I think that is just the strategy to use this kind of lens, because I mean, continuously twisting it in and out from its collapse state to 28mm to start focusing, I think that one can also serve as a delay. So when you're shooting in fast-paced environment like sports, I mean, twisting it always like this and moving like that may make you to miss an important moment. Now let's get the price and value of this lens. I think that for the price to value ratio and the quality that you're getting out of this, you are getting an L glass quality, which is something that surprisingly I did not expect to get out of this. Even though I've seen a lot of people make a high number of praises for this lens, I think that the image quality, the autofocus performance, the image stabilization on this lens, the sharpness, the details, the clarity that you're getting out of this lens, it's really good in terms of the price to value ratio. But I also think that the pricing in terms of Canon was not really priced well. I think for Canon to be able to get a lot of people or to suck in a lot of people to get this lens, they should have priced this beneath $1,000. So approximately, I think that the price of this lens should be around roughly $900 or $950. The fact that Canon has not opened the RF mount to third-party manufacturers, I think Canon should have appropriately priced this lens below $1,000. With the RF 24 to 70mm, you are getting that lens for around $2,500. So having this kind of price over here, I think makes it a lot of great value. But I also think that Canon could have squeezed in a little bit of price cut and given this lens to about $900 or $950. And that would have been so awesome for anyone starting to shoot on Canon RF body. I think this is the first lens that you need to get. At the time that I was buying the Canon RF 24 to 105 IS STM F4 lens, this lens was not available. So that did not become the first point of choice for me, because the 24 to 70mm F2.8 was too expensive for my reach and budget. And so I decided to go for the 24 to 105. And that 24 to 105 has really served me a great deal. That lens, which I'm using to record this video, has been really great. But I think that this 28 to 70mm F2.8 is a tremendous bargain, and one that I can highly recommend for people starting on the RF mount. This lens for me, I think, has been a great servant and a masterclass of its kind. The image quality is impeccable. The sharpness on this is toe-to-toe against any Canon lens that you can find out there. The image stabilization on this lens is one of the best that I've seen so far. It matches my 24 to 105 in terms of image stabilization, and I think this lens is one of the best lenses that you can find on the Canon R glass at the moment. If you enjoyed this video, kindly subscribe to the channel, and I'm going to see you in the video. My name is Abeku. Peace out.